Welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be taking a look at another survival fishing kit from Vigilant Trail. This is the self-snag combo pack. What these self-snag hooks are is it is a way to primarily passively fish. So I can just tie these up over a branch, hang it over some water, and I can just let it go. I can do other survival tasks. And when a fish pulls on it, it's actually going to spring open. It sets the hook and that fish is there waiting for you. So you can use this to actively fish as well. You can cast these out, but the biggest advantage for me is to be able to multitask. I can fish and set these out and they're doing all the work for me, and then I can go about my other survival priorities. Now, I've already reviewed the Stage 1, the Stage 2, and the Stage 3 survival fishing kit. And those are all going to be based off of hand reels. And it just varies depending on what size you're willing to carry with you. I've also reviewed a survival trot line kit. In addition to the survival trot line kit, which I've never seen anybody sell or market before, I also reviewed a self-snag type 1 pocket kit. So that's based off a small Altoids 10. And this is going to be similar, but I have another type of self-snag hook in here. If this is the kind of thing you like to see, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment in the comment box, and ring the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Burning River Bushcraft. I also teach outdoor classes at outdoorcore.com. So the combo kit comes in a heavy-duty Ziploc bag. This is not the most durable option, but this is definitely going to last the entirety of whatever event you would happen to be in. This is the Type 1 self-snag hook, and I've got 2 of these in here. And these are actually pre-rigged and ready to go. So this is 20-pound test on here, and I've got a nice bright red treble hook. So even if you don't have bait, sometimes you can get a fish to strike at a red hook. If you had marginal bait, that red hook is going to definitely attract the fish's attention. The self-snag hooks in the combo pack are quite a bit bigger than the ones in the Type 1 kit. So same concept. These come rigged, and these are a little bit larger. So the advantage to the larger ones is going to be it springs open harder, springs open a whole lot faster. I'm going to say this right now, these things can get away from you pretty quickly. They spring open really fast, and with a razor sharp treble hook like that, if you do not respect this, it's going to get your attention really quick. So to set this, I'm just going to hold this open, and this is going to be similar to like a hand exerciser. So I've got this tab here, and all I'm going to do is put the swivel over the tab. Now I can set line off this top swivel and set this in the water, and there is my fishing depth. I am being very careful for a reason. These things will get you. So the way this works is when a fish bites down on it, you can see it pulls open the spring and it snaps shut. So again, you lose your respect for this thing, it will get you really quickly. Now the amount of line they put on is just about perfect. It keeps enough tension where it's closed, but the spring isn't preloaded at all. Now you can get mammals with these too. A lot of people don't talk about that, but with a treble hook like this, if you were to use a meat bait or a nut, you could probably get into some squirrels. Whatever the animals happen to be eating, you can snag them with this just as easy as you can snag fish. Here's the Type 2 self-snag hook. And I love this container. This is kind of firm, and it's going to keep the self-snag hook in good working order, and most importantly, it's going to keep that hook out of me and out of my gear. It's got a nice oversized lid on it, so when your hands are cold and not quite working right, it's going to work fine with this lid. And the Type 2 is rigged up and ready to go as well. All you have to do is attach your line, cast it out, attach it to a limb, but your leader and your hook are ready to go. The Type 2 self-snag hook is pretty unique looking. I've never seen anything like it, and I didn't know how to use it, but we got directions. So we have directions on just general knot tying and rigging up different types of soft baits. And I have another sheet on the Type 1 self-snag hook. I'm pretty darn familiar with that one. And we've got the Type 2 as well. So this is rigged up with a razor sharp red treble hook again. So we've got all the same advantages to using a treble hook. You've got all the same advantages to a red hook. And this looks like about the same 20-pound test that's attached to the Type 1. And here's our action. So to get this set, I'm going to compress this down. So you can see I've got a small little nipple here, and this is my trigger. So this is just going to slide over the nipple, and then I'm going to ease up on the spring and get my hand the heck out of the way, and this thing is set and ready for business. So I've got this below the barb for my safety, and when a fish pulls down, it sets the trigger off, and it's going to spring up and set the hook. So I'm going to try to let this fire full speed. I am going to control it just a little bit so I don't catch myself with the hook. But when a fish pulls down on here, it's going to spring open. And so my throw is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Yeah, probably about a 2-inch throw. And that is plenty sharp enough, plenty fast enough to set the hook on a fish. I did get bait in here as well, but I like this style. I like the other style too. So I guess I'm just gonna have to use this a little bit and see how it works long term. This plastic, you may think it's a durability thing, but it's pretty smooth. So it actually fires with hardly any resistance. I can barely feel it dragging across it. And it doesn't have as much spring tension as the Type 1, but that means, again, there's a lighter trigger, so it's going to fire even faster. So it'll just be putting this into service and trying it in different conditions and trying it with different size fish. And I'll probably do a follow-up video on the Type 2 snag hook. I love the fact that the self-snag combo is rigged up and ready to go. I just need a little bit of line to get myself into the water, and I can use paracord or bank line for that. I don't necessarily have to have fishing line. That's a great thing. I've even got bait in the bag. So I am completely unsupported with this. If I have a standard traditional fishing kit, great. If not, it's no big deal. I am ready to go as soon as I open this out of the bag. And passive fishing is my #1 way to get fish. I love setting hooks and not worrying about it, going and doing other things and coming back at dinner time and the fish are sitting there. With these types of fishing implements, you're not going to be missing bait. If a fish bites on it, you're pretty much going to be having that fish for dinner. All right, till next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.